Hello everyone, I am Professor Praveen Sarvale, College of Agriculture and Allied Sciences, Shardanagar, Baramati. Today we are going to discuss the remaining part of organic farming. In that, organic nutrient resources and its fortification, that means the nutrient obtained from the different bulky organic manure and concentrated organic manure, and the content of NPK and other micronutrients in a particular organic matter we will discuss in this video. Before that, biological intensive nutrient management, in that a system for approaching of a soil nutrient management which maintain the soil health, soil fertility, sustaining the agriculture productivity and improving the farmer profitability through the effective, judicious and intensive use of biological based nutrient management resources. Okay, that is the biological intensive nutrient management. In that, the different points are considered. In first one is fulfilling the nutrient demand through the biological material like organic manure. In organic manure, FIM, compost, vermicompost, these are the examples. Then biogas slurry, then poultry manures, then fish manure, then biofertilizers, and the recycling of crop residues, green manuring and legume crops, byproducts from the sugar industries, for example, pressed mud cake, then molasses, then a seaweed extract, then permitted fertilizer like a basic slag and a rock phosphate. Okay, these are the material which help to add the nutrient into the soil. Now, come to the point, the classification of organic manure. The organic manure majorly classified into two groups. First one is a bulky organic manure and second one is a concentrated organic manure. In first one is a concentrated organic manure. Concentrated, that means the quantity of this concentrated organic manure is very low but nutrient content is very high as compared to the bulky organic manure. These concentrated organic manures are again classified into two groups, plant origin and animal origin concentrated organic manure. In animal origin, different concentrated organic manure in which blood meal, then bone meal, fish meal, then meat meal. Okay, blood meal, that it contains the maximum amount of nutrient and in micronutrients. Iron is more in blood meal. Then bone meal, there are two types of bone meal, raw bone meal and steamed bone meal. Raw bone meal which contain 25% phosphorus and 30% phosphorus in a steamed bone meal. Then fish meal, meat meal, these are the examples of animal origin concentrated organic manure. Then the plant origin concentrated organic manure are classified into two groups. First one is edible oil cake and second one is a non-edible oil cake. In edible oil cake, sesame cake, groundnut cake, sunflower cake, safflower cake, these cake are used for add into the farm as a concentrated organic manure and which supply the nutrient in large quantity as compared bulky organic manure. Also it fed to the animal as a concentrated feed. Then in a non-edible oil cake, that means it is not suitable for animal also. Currants cake, neem cake, cotton cake, these are the example of non-edible oil cake. Okay, the purpose of this all oil cake is adding as organic manure as well as a feed, concentrated feeds to the animal. Okay, these are the classification of a concentrated organic manure. Now come to the point here, the bulky organic manure. The bulky organic manures are bulk in nature and nutrient content is very less as compared to concentrated organic manure. The different bulky organic manures, in that first one is a FIM, compost, vermicompost, green manuring, sewage sludge and a night soil. Okay, these are the different examples of bulky organic manure. Now in description we will discuss one by one. In that first one is a FYM. The long form of FYM is farmyard manure. Okay, definition: decomposed mixture of cattle dung, urine, litter, the portion of fodder not consumed by the cattle and other domestic waste like ash. Okay, the decomposed mixture of all this material is known as a FYM or farmyard manure. This FYM contain 0.5% nitrogen, 0.2% phosphorus and 0.5% potassium. 80% of nitrogen in a meal is recovered in a dung, urine from an adult cattle. Average 35 kg of dung and per animal per day. Okay, that means it is average. A single animal give 35 kg of dung per day. 6.35 ton FYM per year per animals. Okay, that means all the material, urine, then dung, then portion of the fodder not consumed by the cattle. If you consider, the single animal provide 6.35 ton FYM per year per animal. Okay, this is all about the FYM. Now compost, the biological process in which a microorganism decompose the organic matter and lower the CN ratio of refuse is known as a composting. And the compost mean the well decomposed mixture of plant residues like leaf, stubble, farm waste, cattle shed waste, etc., and animal residues is known as a compost. Okay, the one thing is, remember that the difference between the compost and FYM. FYM, it contain maximum amount of dung and urine, but here in case of the compost, the mixture of leaves, stubbles, farm weeds, cattle shed waste, and animal residues. There are different types of compost. It's based on the material used for the composting. First one is a rural compost, and second one is a town or urban compost. Okay, rural or farm compost, it is made from the farm waste like sugarcane thrash, paddy, straw, weeds and other plant, etc. And the nutrient content 0.5% N, 0.2% P, 0.5% K. And the town or urban compost, the compost made from the town refuse like a night soil, street, a sweeping, dustbin refuse. And the nutrient content 1.4% nitrogen, 1% P and 1.4% K. Okay. Night soil, that means the human excreta, both solid and liquid together, is known as a night soil. And the nutrient content 5.5% N, 4% P and 2% K. Sewage, the human excreta flushed out with the water is known as a sewage water or sewage. Then vermicompost. Okay, the compost which is prepared from the activity of earthworm is known as a vermicompost. It is a simple definition. The compost which prepared from the activity of earthworm is known as a vermicompost. Next one is a vermiculture. That means the scientific method of breeding and raising the earthworm in controlled condition is known as a vermiculture. Okay, vermicompost, the earthworm consume large quantity of organic matter and excrete a soil as a cast. Okay, that means the material passed through the digestive tract of the earthworm, and the excrete material is known as a vermicompost. The material used earthworm, cow dung, plant residues, weed, etc. For making the vermicompost, different species of earthworm is used, in that Eisenia foetida, Eutrulus eugenia, Peronix excavatus, which work in the upper layer of the soil, and the Perithema elegata, Octochotonina serrata, etc. work in the deeper layer of the soil. Okay, these are the different species of earthworm, and the average nutrient content in earthworm vermicompost is a 3% nitrogen, 1% phosphorus, and 1.5% potassium. You can see here the vermicompost, how to prepare the vermicompost in a bed. Appropriate size beds are prepared, and the different farm waste, dung, urine, litter material, whatever the waste are remain on a farm, you can mix one by one, layer by layer. Also add the soil and keep the different species of earthworm, and you can obtain the vermicompost. Then green manuring crops. The practices of plowing and turning into the soil the undecomposed green plant tissue for purpose of improving the soil fertility as well as structure is known as a green manuring. Okay, that means any plant tissue, twigs, or whole plants when you bury it into the soil or incorporated into the soil and it get converted into the nutrient, available nutrient, is known as green manuring crops. The different methods of green manuring crop in that in situ green manuring and leafy green manuring. In situ, that means the green manuring crops are grown on a particular farms and buried on that same farm is known as a in situ. Okay, the most leguminous family examples, the crops are allowed to the grow for 4 to 8 weeks. Crop should be buried just before a flowering. Why? Because at this stage it contains maximum amount of the nutrient and it is a succulent in nature. Sunham, Gawar, that means cluster bean, Sesbania rostrata, okay, wonder crop, etc. These are the examples of green manuring in situ. Then green leafy manure, it refers to turning into the soil green leaves and tender twigs collected from the shrubs and trees grown on a burns and a waste land near the field. That means outside the field, you can bring the different leaves from the different trees, for example, Gliricidia, and buried into the field. Okay, the forestry are main source. The rate of application is a 10 ton per hectare. For example, Gliricidia, Currans, and Subabul. Okay, these are the different advantages of green manuring crops. Bring nutrient to the top layer. Nutrient availability increase due to the production of CO2 and organic acid during the decomposition. Improve the soil structure, water holding capacity of soil. Then decrease the soil loss by erosion. Reduce the weed growth and proliferation. Then helps to reclaim the alkali soil. Root knot nematode can be controlled. Add organic matter and nitrogen. That is the advantages of green manuring crops. Now the disadvantages. Incidence of pests and diseases may increase when undecomposed material remains in the soil, and then increasing the pest and diseases. It's a major problem. Then loss of one season, especially Kharif. Other a short duration crop can be more paying. Then cost of nitrogen added compared with the cost of nitrogen fertilizer is a not cost effective always. Then insufficient growth of crop and improper decomposition of buried materials if there is a insufficient rainfall. Undecomposed part may create hindrance in the sowing operations of a succeeding crop. Okay, and the different qualities or the ideal green manuring crops. What are the characteristics of ideal green manuring crops are given here. It should be leafy habit, a heavy yielder of the green matter, soft, non-fibrous stem, rapid and early growth, deep root system for opening the soil in a deeper layer, good nodular growth, ability to grow under the different soil condition, including the poor soil and suit a different climatic condition, and should have a little water requirement. Okay, these are the different qualities and characteristics of green manuring crops. Then the next part is the biofertilizers. It is also one of the important part of organic farming. Instead of chemical fertilizer, nowadays the farmers focused on biofertilizers. Biofertilizer, that means the products containing live or latent cell of efficient strain of N fixing or phosphorus solubilizing microbes used for the seed or soil application is known as a biofertilizer. Okay. 18,000 ton of nitrogen is present over 1 hectare of land in atmosphere. Chemical fertilizer production require energy from burning of the fossil fuel. Then increasing the cost and decreasing the source of fossil fuel make it costlier for the production of chemical fertilizer, which leads to the increase in the cost of production of farmer. And the biofertilizer provides eco-friendly solution to the problem. Then the biofertilizer provides eco-friendly solution to this problem, so that most of the farmers comes to the biofertilizers. And the different uses of biofertilizer in that to fix the atmospheric nitrogen, to solubilize phosphorus, then to stimulate the growth by the synthesis of plant growth hormones, then to collect the phosphorus from the distance by the sending filaments like a VAM, vesicular or vascular mycorrhiza. Okay, these are the different uses. Now on the classification of biofertilizers, different type of nitrogen fixing biofertilizers and the phosphorus solubilizing biofertilizer. Another one class is here decomposing biofertilizers. But here we will discuss only the nitrogen fixing biofertilizer and phosphorus solubilizing biofertilizer. In nitrogen fixing biofertilizer, first one is for legume crop and second one is for cereal crop. For legume crop, rhizobium, it is a symbiotic nitrogen fixing biofertilizer for legume crop. Most of the legume or pulses crop prefer rhizobium. For example, groundnut, soya bean, etc. And the different strain of these rhizobiums, especially Rhizobium japonicum, is mostly preferred in groundnut and soya bean. The nitrogen fixing biofertilizer for a cereal, Azolla as Azotobacter, then blue-green algae, Azospirillum. In phosphorus solubilizing biofertilizers, phosphate solubilizer, Bacillus, Pseudomonas aspergillus and Penicillium, and the phosphate absorber in that Bacillus and VAM. These are the biofertilizers mostly preferred. Okay, this is the classification of biofertilizers. Okay, thank you so much, student. If you have a problem regarding this video, then contact me. Thank you so much.